Malik Beasley has officially been cleared in the federal gambling probe. But if you think that means the drama is over, think again, because while the legal case is closed, the damage has already been done. His free agency has been stalled, millions of dollars may have slipped away, and his future in the NBA is still hanging by a thread. The story of Malik Beasley isn't just about basketball, it's about how one allegation can flip a player's entire career upside down. Just a few months ago, Beasley was in line for a massive payday. After a strong season with Detroit, averaging over 16 points a game and shooting lights out from three, he was close to a $42 million deal with the Pistons. For a player who'd bounced around the league, this was his moment. Financial security, stability, and a chance to prove he could be a key piece of a rebuilding franchise. But then everything collapsed. News broke that Beasley's name was linked to a federal gambling investigation, and instantly, the deal went cold. Instead of signing his next contract, he was fighting for his reputation. The probe centered around suspicious prop bet activity during a Bucks game back in January of 2024 when Beasley was still in Milwaukee. Federal investigators looked into unusual betting spikes and whether players could have been involved. Beasley suddenly found himself under the harshest spotlight of his career. He hadn't been charged, no evidence had been presented, but the whispers were enough to stall his entire free agency. One day he was a hot target, the next he was radioactive. For Beasley, the hardest part wasn't just the lost contract, it was the silence. His attorneys spoke out, saying he was being punished without a charge, calling it the reverse of the presumption of innocence. And Beasley himself admitted how damaging it felt, being judged by headlines instead of facts. On top of that, financial struggles added to the storm. He was already dealing with lawsuits and debts tied to a former marketing agency, making the timing even more brutal. A player who had finally found his rhythm on the court was suddenly drowning in off-court chaos. Then came the turning point. In late August, Beasley's attorneys announced that he was no longer a target of the federal gambling probe. Legally, he was in the clear. No charges, no case. But that didn't instantly erase the damage. Free agency had already moved on, rosters were filling up, and while Beasley could now breathe easier, his NBA future wasn't as secure as it once looked. Because here's the catch, just because the feds closed their case doesn't mean the NBA will. The league has the power to hand down its own discipline even without criminal charges. And after the Rozier betting scandal earlier this year, the NBA has been under pressure to appear tough on gambling issues. That leaves Beasley in a strange limbo. He's cleared legally, but front offices wonder, will Adam Silver step in with a suspension? Could signing Beasley bring unwanted headlines? It's a cloud that won't disappear overnight. Still, there are teams watching closely. The Knicks have already been linked to Beasley, potentially bringing him in on a minimum deal. For New York, it's a low-risk move. Take a proven three-point shooter, let the storm settle, and maybe steal a bargain in free agency. For Beasley, it's a shot at redemption, another chance to prove that he's more than the headlines, more than the controversy, and still capable of being the reliable scorer teams saw in Detroit. The only question is, who's willing to take that chance? So Malik Beasley walks away cleared, but not untouched. A $42 million contract might be gone forever. His reputation took a hit that no press release can erase, and the league could still deliver its own punishment. The truth is, being cleared isn't always enough in today's NBA. One rumor, one investigation can reshape a career even if the evidence never sticks. Beasley now has to fight harder than ever, not just to stay in the league, but to control his own story. Because at the end of the day, the federal government may have walked away, but the NBA world hasn't forgotten.